Hello, I'm Dean Takahashi, lead writer for GamesBeat at VentureBeat, and we're here live from GTC 2024 talking with Dan Diazio from EY. And Dan, welcome. So why is EY at NVIDIA GTC, and what are you guys discussing?
Thank you, Dean. So, I mean, this is the hottest company in the world, talking about the hottest technology in the world, and we see a lot of synergies between EY and NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the market leader in AI and edge computing, and EY is a market leader in transformation. We help our clients transform their business models and transform their operating models. We're really focused now on helping our clients build AI-powered businesses. So during the session, we're going to be talking about where we've had some success with some companies and also learning from what's next in tech.
Well, we're in a very exciting time right now, I guess. What do you feel is ahead for AI in the coming year?
Yeah, so we're like 13 months into the beginning of the generative AI wave, and if last year would be characterized by a lot of experiments and a lot of proof of concepts, a lot of companies doing AI because they can instead of maybe doing it because they should, this year, 2024, is all about scale. And as organizations look to scale, there's three things that they're really focused on. First is they're kind of shifting from being bottoms up to more top-down focus, having a smaller set of initiatives that they're driving as opposed to a large portfolio. Second is that instead of just implementing technology as like an install, a service, a system implementation, they're more focused on reinventing business models and really reimagining the way the business can work. And third is that instead of just using a frontier model for everything, they're starting to move more towards fit-for-purpose models that leverage technology required to power their business.
Interesting. Yeah, tell me more. Like, how are organizations actually doing this, I guess?
Yeah, Dean, so since we're at NVIDIA, I'll talk about the third one, just to make it clear. So the third one, what we see is that many organizations are realizing that maybe I don't need the frontier model to be able to power all my business. And we've come up with a framework we call MIN, which is focused on the minimum intelligence necessary to be able to power an AI system. And this really involves three different components. So we look at the aptitude that's required for the AI system, we look at the technology that's required, the hardware that's required, and we also look at the data that's required. And I'll kind of summarize this in maybe a bit of a metaphor. So if we think about cars, there are clearly, if you're in a race and you want the best car in the world, clearly you want Formula One car. Those cars are quite expensive, like $15 million to be able to produce the car, and then you need a whole team to be able to maintain that car. That's what the frontier models are. For many organizations, they don't need a Formula One car to be able to go on a family vacation or to be able to get to work every day. And what we find is that organizations are finding much more small models that they might be able to fine-tune with their expertise that get to the same sorts of results as a frontier model.
Nice. So AI is getting more practical, really.
More practical, more scalable, and more cost-effective.
Thank you, Dan. So thanks for watching, and be sure to explore more sessions in the GTC catalog.
This is the face of EY.ai,
a unifying platform connecting EY's diverse people,
ecosystems, and leading technology capabilities. The face of confidence.
seeing opportunity and risk
from every angle. The face of the future.
Of people augmented and empowered by AI.
Find out how you can have confidence in the opportunities AI brings.
Hi, I'm Matt Marshall, founder and editor-in-chief of VentureBeat. We're here live from GTC 2024 talking with Mitesh Agrawal, the Chief Operating Officer of Lambda. Welcome, Mitesh.
Thank you, Matt. It's great to be here.
Mitesh, tell us what Lambda does. What do you do, and why are you here at GTC?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you can see from the event, it's, first of all, very energizing right now in the AI space. So that's why Lambda is here, because Lambda builds the premier cloud, the premier NVIDIA GPU cloud for AI developers out there. So we are here deploying all of the latest and greatest of NVIDIA AI GPUs in our cloud for developers and software to build their next generation of machine learning applications.
Mitesh, congrats, that's a very hot space right now.
Yeah.
You say it's the premium cloud for GPUs. We've heard of a few other big cloud providers that are offering GPUs, Google, Amazon,
Absolutely.
AWS, and Microsoft has a play there as well. When you say premium, can you tell us a little bit more about what that means?
Yeah, Lambda is founded by machine learning and deep learning engineers, and Lambda's products are designed for machine learning and deep learning applications. That means that combining NVIDIA AI GPUs with NVIDIA networking for the fastest bandwidth, with all the toolkits that come out of the box to really run all the deep learning applications within seconds and within minutes, right? That's what makes it premier for AI developers and software applications out there.
Great, Mitesh. Can you tell us a little bit more about the session that's coming up where you're showing an early deployment of the GH200? And can you tell us about what that deployment is and what you're learning from it?
Yeah, Lambda always strives to be one of the first to market with the newest and greatest NVIDIA GPUs. GH200 is NVIDIA's flagship Grace Hopper product line, and Lambda was one of the first to deploy the Grace Hopper or GH200 cluster. We deploy a multi-hundred or multi-thousand GPU GH200 cluster for application specifically targeted for deep learning training and inference. And in our session today, we're going to be sharing about all of our learnings in deploying such a big cluster. What are the thoughts that go behind developing and deploying the latest NVIDIA GPUs with the latest NVIDIA networking, and how do we optimize that for all the deep learning training applications that are taking the world by storm today in terms of language models, in terms of diffusion models, and so on.
Can you tell us about the customer that is doing this deployment? I think it's Anyscale. Why is that significant?
Yeah, Anyscale is a big compute customer for Lambda Cloud. Anyscale is playing at the forefront of machine learning and deep learning technology by both offering their toolkits for machine learning developers, but also providing APIs for transformer and language models for the community out there. And Anyscale has chosen to partner with Lambda for their compute requirements because of our, as I mentioned, premier AI GPU cloud deployments, where we not only focus just on deploying the latest NVIDIA GPUs, but making sure that they're optimized with networking, with the software stack above it, including NVIDIA's AI enterprise software stack, such that people can, including Anyscale, can go up and running right from the get-go.
So it's quite a coup, right, for you to have such an early deployment of the GH200s. Can you tell us how that came together? Why Lambda and why Anyscale?
The part of it is GH200 is first of NVIDIA's Grace series line of products. So it was very important for Lambda to work on the deployment of GH200 in close conjunction with NVIDIA's engineering team so that we can understand how best to extract GH200's unique features. For example, GH200 has not only more memory per GPU, but it can have a coherent memory feature which allows you to use the system memory with the GPU, thus allowing for very large language models to be trained successfully and to run inference on it very successfully. Another reason is NVIDIA's future flagship products, as Keynote will present, will have continuously Grace series of products, and it is very important for Lambda to take these learnings into the next future supercluster deployment there.
Mitesh, thanks for that. And so I can understand Anyscale, right? They're a leader in deployment of these distributed apps, and so they're a core player for you and partner. Where do you think the leading applications and industries are for these sorts of deployments going forward? So what comes after Anyscale?
Yeah, I mean, look, all the world has been talking about all the language model companies, the foundational model companies, the AI image models, the AI video models, and all of those things. Those will continue to expand a lot as both use cases span not just those companies, but across various verticals, as you might think of media and entertainment or marketing or things like those. So those will come. we are starting to see both enterprise customers from verticals like healthcare and biology, and even e-commerce and retail. All of those things are really now understanding how to use AI and machine learning into their, either their offerings to the customers or internally using it for optimization. So we are expecting a continual rise in demand of compute from all the industries that are happening around, and we expect major industries like healthcare and media entertainment to take a big part in the coming year.
Great, Mitesh. We're at GTC, right? NVIDIA is hosting this. There's a lot of players on the floor here, a lot of excitement. Can you talk about what the most exciting thing is for you in your partnership with NVIDIA, maybe happening today, whether you're announcing it today or maybe what's under the hood?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be perfectly frank. The first most exciting thing is just to see the event. It's the AI event right now in terms of not just from a commercial aspect of, all of us as sponsors and exhibitors, but also a lot of amazing technological and papers and studies presented by a lot of developers here. So we'll see some great studies presented here at the conference. Lambda itself has a machine learning team that's going to be presenting our own machine learning research. For Lambda also, we're going to be announcing, we're going to be one of the first to work with NVIDIA on their new flagship GPUs. So that's always an exciting period. And then lastly, honestly, talking with all of our customers, partners, everyone that is involved with this behemoth effort, right? Making sure that people understand what AI is and how this compute curve is going to grow from our lens, and then learning from people in terms of what their applications will be. As I said, it's an energizing event, not just energetic, but for us to see all this up close is very, very fun.
There's been a lot of publicity around, well, obviously the rise of NVIDIA. It's coming from a demand in NVIDIA's chips.
Yeah.
The other side of that coin is the supply being very limited, right? There's too much demand for supply. So this has led to some excitement around companies like Lambda, right? Yeah. Which is actually being able to offer a cloud that maybe some of the others aren't, based on the latest and greatest. Can you talk about how you're differentiated from this collection of other players that are showing up? CoreWeave is an example. What's your differentiation from CoreWeave and some of the others that I think we're seeing here as well?
Yeah, no, I think it's a very fair question. First and foremost, right, look, we all work closely with NVIDIA's engineering and NVIDIA's reference design to provide the best-in-class NVIDIA GPU architecture to our customers. I think beyond that is where differentiation starts coming into play, right? And I think it's all around kind of the software layer that enables deep learning engineers to quickly spin up a GPU, for example, in Lambda Cloud within a few seconds to get it on demand. For AI developers to have all of the toolkits and all the frameworks that they need for running a deep learning training or inference, to have that all ready to go without worrying about it. And you will see a soft launch from Lambda on not only doing that at individual NVIDIA GPU levels, but at a cluster level where people can come in and have a fully networked, fully architected GPUs ready to go within minutes of asking, and so on and so forth, right? So these are kind of the differentiation layers as you build on top of the cluster architecture itself as you go. And like, all different cloud providers will have their own ways of addressing the market. For us, we are specifically focused on AI developers, and because we come from that background, we understand kind of their requirements in terms of their use cases and how they would ideally like to do it. And of course, we learn from them as well, right? So we would want to provide that experience and kind of differentiate along that line of series.
Mitesh, I want to ask you, one more question before we let you go. Thanks for your time here. Is about that supply demand. Mm-hmm. How long do you see that staying in effect, right? How long will the demand outdo the supply, and then what does that mean for your business moving forward?
It's question of the year, isn't it?
Yeah. You got a crystal ball for us?
Yeah, I wish. I mean, I think NVIDIA will probably know the answer there. But look, from our viewpoint and vantage, the demand curve is consistently increasing, as is supply, NVIDIA is really ramping up productions of not only the current generation of NVIDIA H100, H200 GPUs, but also their upcoming line of Blackwell GPU series. But we anticipate that the compute demand is going to scale up continuously, both from not only just the training side of the models, but also inference applications that are scaling up. And look, our belief is people are still underestimating how much demand is there. So from our perspective, the demand curve is going to be above the supply curve. And I think the final nuance is just like, NVIDIA has all these great lines of product series, right? It's not just Blackwell, it's not just Hopper, they have other inference products and other software layers. Also, as we learn to optimize more on these and make them even further kind of widespread in terms of their usability, you will see a balance come there. But for the foreseeable future, our viewpoint is singularly demand curve below supply curve.
Mitesh, I hope it's for you. It stays that way, but obviously, I think this is going to be an exciting market either way. There's going to be some demand, so congratulations on what you've done. Thank you for joining us here.
Thank you, Matt, for your time, and thank you for everyone.
Have a good conference.
Yeah. Cheers.
Thank you, guests, for watching, and be sure to explore more sessions in the GTC catalog.
The pace of AI is accelerating every day. One of the biggest constraints is the scarcity of specialized AI compute infrastructure, expertise, and tooling to scale workloads and to make them performant and cost-efficient. We chose Lambda for access to best-in-class NVIDIA hardware and the engineering expertise to design, build, deploy, and support solutions in a fully integrated way. At any scale, we enable our customers to leverage open source AI, and our AI platform is constantly evolving. Lambda was able to provide compute resources at scale while optimizing infrastructure performance across the full stack. We look forward to our continued partnership with Lambda and NVIDIA as we navigate the ever-evolving landscape of AI.
Hi, I'm Matt Marshall, founder and editor-in-chief of VentureBeat. We're here live from GTC 2024, talking with Mark Lohmeyer, VP and GM of Compute and ML Infrastructure from Google Cloud. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks, it's great to be here, Matt.
So we're here at the GTC event. There's been a lot of announcements. Jensen's keynote was long, had a lot of things included. Google, what did you guys announce today with NVIDIA?
Yeah, so first of all, it's great to be here. Great to feel the energy, from Jensen's keynote as well as on the floor. And at Google, we are really excited to be partnering with NVIDIA in so many ways to meet the needs of our joint customers together. We had some really exciting joint announcements today, literally at every level of the stack, from hardware to software to new consumption models. At the hardware level, we're really excited to announce that we're going to be enabling the Grace Blackwell 200 based hardware systems as Google Cloud services. We're really excited about the amazing new capabilities that will enable for our customers.
And Mark, just to cut, is that new, the support of the hardware, or is this just an involvement, a continuation of the support of NVIDIA's hardware?
It's a great point. So we have a very deep relationship between Google and NVIDIA over many years. We've been fortunate over that time to introduce many solutions together. At Google, we like to say that our goal is to be first invest with NVIDIA, sort of first with their new capabilities, and best in terms of the ways that we implement them for our joint customers. So we have many instances and VM families together with NVIDIA, and really this Grace Blackwell solution that we're going to be working on together is just the next step in that deep partnership over many years. So we're excited about that. But I think one of the things that's interesting about Google and the way that we work with NVIDIA is it's not just about the hardware, it's also about the software and the frameworks and the new consumption models we're enabling together with them on top of that NVIDIA hardware. And so we're also really excited to announce support for JAX, which is a leading framework for training of very large-scale models, which we developed first inside Google, but we're now enabling this together with NVIDIA, JAX support on top of NVIDIA GPUs. So we're really excited about making that available to our joint customers. And then if you go up one more layer up the stack, we enable enterprise customers around the world to basically take existing models and tune them and serve them easily with their own enterprise data. We do that through a platform called Vertex AI, and we also announced that we're going to be supporting, we are supporting NVIDIA GPUs within that Vertex AI platform.
Got it. Let's come back to the Vertex GPUs. Going back to JAX, you called that out very specifically. Could you talk a little bit about why the developer community, the enterprise community should care about JAX? What are you most excited about there?
Yeah, we're super excited about this. So as I mentioned before, this really came out of Google research, and I think one of the things that is unique about Google relative maybe to some of the other hyperscalers is we are both broad and deep in terms of our AI experience and expertise over many years. And so we have a large, very sophisticated research team with Google DeepMind. That team then creates the models and the tooling around those. So Gemini is a great example of that. Gemma, which is an open source version of the same. And then we have experience taking those models and basically scaling them in production in applications that serve billions of consumers around the world. And all of that runs on top of our infrastructure, right? And so it's that sort of flywheel of expertise that we're able to bring to bear. And JAX comes out of that, right? Okay. JAX came out of the fact that, hey, what does it take to be able to train a large-scale model like Gemini, and doing that for our own purposes. But now we're really, really excited because we're making that available for external customers through our cloud services on top of NVIDIA GPUs, which are obviously broadly used in the industry. So it's these types of joint innovations we're super excited about.
So there's a lot there. So help me break it down. You got the hardware, you got the software, you got these frameworks. JAX, what are you personally most excited about, Mark, right? When you take a step back, what are you most excited about from the NVIDIA, GTC, and the ecosystem you have?
I mean, I think more broadly in the industry, I think it's an incredibly exciting time. If you just look at what these models are able to do, it seems like every week, we're discovering some new, incredibly powerful, amazing use case. And, from where I sit, I'm thinking about the infrastructure and what infrastructure do we need to be building and enabling within Google and Google Cloud to enable that next generation of models. And it's those things that I talked about before, I think are going to be fundamental to enabling this next set of models, this next set of use cases. And in particular, I think one trend we're going to be seeing more of is the shift to everyone focusing more on inferencing and serving of these models, right? To date, a lot of it has been about how do you train them, and that will obviously still be extremely important going forward. But now as these models go into production in enterprise applications and consumer applications, serving of those models, inferencing, generative AI, becomes the next big problem to solve together. And I think a lot of the announcements that we made together between Google and NVIDIA are going to be really impactful in terms of scaling the inferencing of those models cost effectively with sustainability and efficiency. And so I'm excited about where that's going next.
Right, Mark, thanks for that. One of the interesting ironies here, perhaps, is that LLMs have set this revolution off, and Jensen was talking very clearly about this being the generative AI era, but yet, there seems to be so much more value being created, or the appearances on the hardware side, or NVIDIA's ecosystem shooting to over $2 trillion in market cap, and there's this supply and demand problem, right, where there's more demand for these GPUs than supply, partly driving that value. Just curious, do you see a change in that demand happening sometime soon, cooling off, maybe the prices coming down?
Yeah, so I mean, as you said, the demand has been tremendous, and we don't see the demand cooling down at all, right? We just see the demand continuing to increase over time. We see the diversity of models increasing. We see the use cases expanding. We see more and more customers, whether they're digital natives or enterprise customers, finding those first use cases and driving them. So we see the demand continuing to grow. From a Google and Google Cloud perspective, we're working hard to meet that demand, right? And so we've been able to deploy large amounts of capacity, serving the needs of the vast majority of our customers. But this is a never-ending process, right? That demand keeps growing. We need to keep landing more and more capacity. And so we're very, very focused on that and feel good about where we are there. Though one other thing I would add is that while landing the physical capacity is important, what's also really, really important is how do you efficiently use that capacity? And so we've been making a lot of investments, again, at that software layer, at the consumption layer, to enable our customers to most effectively and cost effectively utilize that capacity. To give you one specific example, we just recently announced something called Dynamic Workload Scheduler, which is a new consumption model designed specifically for AI workloads. And if you think about the different use cases for AI, yes, some of them are sustained use, like training over a long period of time. So for that, you might need a reserved instance, or in Google Cloud, a committed use discount, for example. But there's other use cases like fine-tuning, where you just need a certain amount of capacity for a certain period of time. You want to know that it's going to be there when you need it, but after that, you don't need it anymore, right? And so Dynamic Workload Scheduler allows our customers to do just that. Say, I want this type of GPUs in this location for this period of time. We'll guarantee it's going to be there when they need it. And then, of course, they only have to pay us when they're actually consuming it. So it's also very cost effective for our customers.
Mark, this is interesting. I think we're running out of time, but I've got to get this question. I know Google has built some of its own custom chips, right? You talk about the frameworks, JAX, you got TensorFlow, you've got the models. How long will this dependence, I mean, you're the compute guy at Google, how long will this dependence on NVIDIA last? It really feels like they have that kind of gatekeeper function on the GPU side. How long will that last?
So the way I think about it is it's all about our customers, right? Yeah. And what do they need, and how can we deliver them what they need in the most effective way possible? Yeah. And so yes, we have our own in-house TPU technology, which we're excited about, we're making available to customers, but we also find that customers like choice, they like flexibility. A lot of customers love, for very, very good reason, NVIDIA GPUs and NVIDIA technologies. And so our strategy is to make all that available to them, and as I mentioned before, with NVIDIA in particular being first and best with them, first with all their new technologies and best relative to any other hyperscaler. And I think the strategy is actually playing out quite well. So if you look, for example, at the companies that know this technology the best, it's probably the generative AI startups, right? Okay. Most sophisticated, most technologically advanced. Over 70% of those have chosen to run their workloads on Google Cloud, and a significant portion of that, of course, is on top of NVIDIA GPUs. So we just see that partnership continuing to be really fundamental. It's been deep in the past, you're going to see us deepen it going forward, but really it's all in service of our joint customers, and so we're super excited about that.
Great, last question before I let you go, Mark, is if you take a step back, what do you think are some of the biggest infrastructure trends, or maybe it's a single trend that maybe you see that maybe is underappreciated in the market right now?
Yeah, so I alluded to this a little bit earlier, but I think we are starting to see a shift from the main usage being for training and maybe tuning of these models. And while that's not going away, people are going to keep doing that and keep iterating on new versions of the models. I think we're going to really start to see inferencing take off, and how you design an architect at a systems level across hardware, compute network storage, software, the frameworks, the compilers, Kubernetes, and the consumption models, to be able to serve those models in production at scale, great reliability, great security, great performance, low cost, right? Because the profitability of many businesses will depend upon the cost to serve. I think that's the next big challenge that the industry has to come together to tackle. And we're really excited about a lot of the things that NVIDIA has been talking about today, and our work with them to enable some of those use cases going forward.
Great. And is that going to happen this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're already seeing it happening, where we're seeing customers shifting more and more of their workloads to serving, right, to meet the business needs of their customers. Yeah.
Okay, Mark, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you too. Great to be here.
So thank you, guests, for watching, and be sure to explore more sessions in the GTC catalog.